Hi, and welcome to the ADHD Advocate LinkedIn Lives. It is October, ADHD Empowerment Month, and I'm Stephanie. I'm the founder of the ADHD Advocate, and this week we will be looking at ADHD at work. So, yeah, I can't believe we're in our third week. We've done ADHD Insights week one, if you missed out, and then also academic success last week. And actually, that ended in the TES SEN show that we participated in on Friday and Saturday, which was fantastic. It was amazing to see the amount of interest schools have in learning more about ADHD so they can better support their students with ADHD. It was very encouraging. And yeah, we'll be doing a shout out definitely to those schools that visited our stand and attended our talk. But definitely, we're encouraging a lot more schools to get involved, to get interested. And we're always happy to provide awareness training to teachers, staff, parents. And obviously, we also help the students with our high school success program. And we have a taster tonight. Actually, if you go on our website, visit events, and we've got a free taster for parents that want to see how our high school success program can help their students with ADHD and sometimes autism basically not just achieve their academic performance, but more importantly than that, the most important thing is to be able to get through what will be probably be the most stressful time of their lives with their mental health intact. It very much gives these kids the skills and the mindset that will go way beyond the academic to help them succeed with their ADHD. So, getting back to what we're talking about this week. So, today I am talking about ADHD and leadership. So, I do a lot of coaching around leadership and ADHD. I coach a lot of managing directors of financial institutions, a lot of business owners, startups, as well as business owners wanting to grow their businesses. And there are definitely some common traits, common challenges that these leaders with ADHD face. Now, the biggest one that I tend to see is RSD, rejection sensitive dysphoria. So a lot of ADHDers, they end up working for themselves, for instance, due to having trouble in the workplace, having trouble keeping up, with the very strict agenda, the timing, having to do things that particularly they may not be quite interested in, or doing things in a way that they don't agree with. And that can get quite frustrating for ADHDers. It's very important that ADHDers have agency. We're not very good at being told what to do. In fact, they say if you tell an ADHD what to do, you take away the idea in the first place for them. So even if they were thinking of doing something, just the very fact of being told to do it because of RSD, rejection sensitivity, they don't want to do that thing because then that would confirm their worst possible fear that they are not good enough. So that's why the coaching approach works so beautifully. And that is why a lot of ADHDers exit the workplace and set up their own businesses. Now, the problem with that, and what we definitely help these leaders do, is to translate their ideas into reality, but also help them create structures, support systems, the right people around them, not only to create their business, but to grow it and to maintain it. Us ADHDs are not very good at maintenance. So there's that issue. The biggest issue as well in the RSD space for these managers in high kind of positions in firms is RSD again, because a lot of ADHDs have trouble with the concept of being a leader. Now, you can imagine with leadership, because we have this feeling we so desperately want to belong, right? Because rejection sensitivity is all about not feeling like you do belong. And when you become a leader, that sets you apart. And a lot of ADHDers struggle with this. I had one client that I was coaching that's actually made some really, really, really strong progress, but he wasn't getting promoted. He wasn't getting, he was going for partnership. And again, because he's not able to really promote himself, a lot of ADHDers are people pleasers. They do struggle to promote themselves. They also don't want to appear as if they're better than everyone else because they want to be liked. They don't like to confront or have those difficult conversations, particularly around pay. So they just don't. And unfortunately, in the meantime, they see their peers being promoted above them, and they just stay where they are. And guys, what you'll see is that eventually they will get disgruntled. But they didn't help themselves. They didn't tell their managers what they needed in order to stay engaged, but they stayed silent, felt unappreciated, not recognized. And remember, recognition responsive euphoria is the opposite of rejection sensitive dysphoria. So employers out there, if you've got employees with ADHD, make sure you recognize what they do well, very important, and you say hello. A lot of ADHDs as well struggle when there's not that kind of acknowledgement that they're there. For instance, it's important that they feel part of something. So yeah, recognition. And so a lot of ADHDs, if they're not receiving that and they feel like it's unfair, then they will disengage and they will exit, they'll leave. So you've got some very, very talented senior people that would become amazing leaders. They've got like all the traits that would make them a great leader, not getting the promotion because they haven't spoken up for themselves. So what we do well at the ADHD Advocate is help our ADHD leaders to be able to increase their confidence, be able to really understand their worth, to want more, need more, to expect more. For instance, the other day in a coaching session, I asked this leader to be, what would he ask for in this negotiation for the role, for pay increases and bonuses, if he was the person that wanted more, needed more, expected more. So very much encouraging that leader to set a higher standard, to expect for that standard to be met. And he was very uncomfortable because it is really uncomfortable for ADHDs, again, because of RSD, and very low self-worth, unfortunately, as well, to be able to promote themselves in that way. But he lent into his discomfort zone, and I'm proud to say that he's on the path. They've agreed to put him on this partnership path, and he's elated. And it's a win-win, obviously, for the leader to be, the employee, but the organization, because this person managed to create huge amounts of revenue that hadn't been seen before, create these opportunities that no one else had managed to create. And it would be a huge loss for the organization if he were to walk. So just by encouraging our leaders to be with ADHD to understand, appreciate their worth, but communicate it and expect for them to be valued, ask for what they want, they can reach it, and it is best for everyone concerned. But it is hard. It's hard because of RSD. So what we do in coaching a lot, we role play these conversations as well. And that really helps them overcome some of the fears, having that rehearsal, visualizing how they're going to be, preparing for the meeting, and staying on that agenda. Because unfortunately with us ADHDs, if you don't have an agenda, which we often don't, we end up following someone else's. And that's the other thing that I see with my leaders that I coach quite often. Their team do not know what is going on. And that's usually because the ADHD leader has not created space to get clear about the direction of the company, where they want the company to go, the metrics of success. It might be in their head. Usually that's the answer I get at the beginning of a coaching session. It's all, yes, I can see it, or yes, it's in my head. That's not going to help your team if it's just in your head. And there can be a lot of frustration felt by teams when their leader hasn't been able to get clear, to step up and communicate the agenda. And even when that agenda is clear and can be communicated, the next issue is actually following it and having that consistency, accountability on both the leader and the team for being able to follow that plan. So that's the other difficulty, particularly when the leader decides that actually there's another idea, project they want to bring into the mix, and then put that on the team, usually with unrealistic expectations in terms of turnaround times. And yeah, it all just falls apart. So what we do again a lot with our leaders with ADHD, we help give them a roadmap. We create space for them in our leadership program, actually. Every quarter, we do quarterly planning, and we create space for our leaders to come together and to do their plan for that next quarter. all obviously helping them get forward, like make progress towards their business vision. So yes, very important to have a goal, keep the end in sight, keep the end in mind when you're formulating these plans. So we do work around the business vision, and then we make sure that the quarterly plan has SMART goals that they can achieve. So we do this actually through our leadership program. So we run a leadership program that started this year. So we're in our last quarter, and I'm happy to say that the quarter before, everyone's on track, which is fantastic. That's what we want. But no guilt or shame. It's a great group of leaders actually that get together, do their quarterly plans at the beginning of each quarter. But then weekly, we all meet up and we talk about the progress. And monthly, we have these mastermind sessions where, with all their diverse backgrounds, huge amount of expertise and knowledge, they come together and help each other, which is like so powerful. And it's a great group. ADHD leaders with ADHD, obviously very impressive. Most people that you find at the top of the ladder in each industry happen to have ADHD. But yes, the problem, as we say in our flyer, many individuals with ADHD find themselves in leadership positions due to their passion, talent, and commitment to excellence. Whilst they make inspiring visionaries, they are often ill-equipped for the minutiae of management due to their ADHD. So this is what our program seeks to address. We very much adapt the strengths-based approach to ADHD and look to overcome those ADHD barriers to management through that, having that accountability, doing the planning, stepping out of the whirlwind of the day-to-day, which again, leaders very much with ADHD tend to just be firefighting and don't create space to step out of that whirlwind. And actually, our main role as leaders is to create space to get clear on the agenda so that we can then communicate and, keep the course. But again, leading into interdependence, because we can't do everything on our own. So it's important to have the right bums on the right seats, have the people there to help do the things that you struggle to do or don't want to do, or never get around to doing, so that you can operate in your area of unique brilliance, because that's where an ADHD leader will absolutely thrive. And nothing gives me more pleasure to see these leaders, these business owners, these managers rise and create some beautiful things, really. It's a pleasure and a privilege. So if you want to know more about the leadership program, do register your interest by emailing admin@theadhdadvocate.com and register your interest for Q1 of 2025. So that's me basically for today. I did want to share a video from our ADHD Coaching Summit last year, where I interviewed two leaders with ADHD, Kate Bennett and Sam, and I will put a link to those YouTube videos in the comment section connected to this video. So thank you for joining me. And yes, if you are an ADHD leader, do join us. We can help you reframe, help you leverage the many strengths you have for leadership with ADHD. And more importantly, we're going to help keep you out of your own way. You'll be very happy for it, as will your team. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again at 1 p.m. tomorrow.